Hi guys, welcome to this video tutorial on Sibelius 7. In this introduction I will explain different sections of Sibelius. I will show you the basic functions of this software used to basically write down scores. This software is really useful if you want to write on paper different parts to give to musicians to play with you, basically for recordings or for live situations. So let's open Sibelius. I've already opened it. Cool. So in the startup window, you have 5 different sections. The first section, that is Learn, basically features a few videos introduction about what's new about Sibelius. Is their kind of video tutorial of actual Sibelius. This page is not really useful, if I have to be fair. Anyway, let's go to the new score. This section is way more interesting. Basically, what it does, it gives you a lot of models of different band and ensemble situations. So if it's already something, a base that Sibelius is giving to you to start your project. So at the top of it is no category, that is basically a bass stuff, treble stuff, or blank. So if you want to start from real 0, or bass stuff is basically just giving you the bass clef, a few clef, and the rest is based on you. And the same is for the treble stuff. So if you want to write for violin or guitar, you're gonna start with this model here that doesn't really have any details about the instruments used. The following section is band. You can select between brass band, concert band, so it's kinda like based on jazz and classical music, I would say. Then is chamber groups, so basically all chamber music. Here's brass, different type of brass ensembles, quartet, quintet, trio, and here is the strings ensembles and woodwinds ensembles. Following is choral and song. Basically there are different types of choir. So here is soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. And here is basically following the different tenor, bass. Different type of choir, or voice plus keyboard, or choir plus organ. Later on that. And then following is handbells, so as it says, handbells. Then there is the jazz models. There are the jazz models. There is big band, jazz combo, 2, 3, 4 horns. That basically in jazz music is not really horns, but is more brass actually, because you might find saxophones as well, and trumpets, and yeah, and then jazz quartet. And there is the Latin models, that is salsa band and mariachi band. Then is based on marching bands and percussions, so drums, percussions, military band, percussions, and stuff like that. Then is orchestral music, so everything that is based on an orchestra. So it's classical music orchestra, romantic type of orchestra, concert type of orchestra, for film music orchestra, modern orchestra, and orchestra based on strings mainly. Then there is the instruments, so it's kind of the melodic percussions. Then it's rock and pop models, so pop group model, rhythm and blues band, so it's more with modern instruments such as drums, bass, guitars, keyboards. And then it's soul instruments like guitar and tub, or directly guitar tub. Then lead sheet, that is again general, is you can basically write for trumpet, guitar again, for string, for violin, etc. And there is piano, for example. So once you have selected your model, you're just gonna go on one click and it will open another section that we're gonna have a look later. So the next panel here is recent. It basically is showing you all the projects you've been working on today, this week, this month, and other than that. Then is import. Basically, these are connected to two other software. That the photo score is another software that basically is transposing from a picture of a score the actual score in Sibelius, and the audio score is basically importing the score of a soundtrack just by listening to it. So basically it is transcribing it directly on paper. Actually, I've tried this one a few weeks ago, and it is not really well developed already yet. I mean, the technology is not that advanced to manage to transcribe exactly everything. I mean, it's good for melodies, but not really for details, small details, especially if there are so many tracks on the record. Okay, and then latest news is basically all the news related to the software, the updates, the new features and stuff like that. So going back to new score, we're gonna select for the introduction a pop group. Okay, here's another section. Here's a little preview of what you're gonna find in the main, let's say, working working page of Sibelius. This is a preview in which the instruments are shown, and let's say here you can change the page size, the house style as well. You can change instruments just by clicking on them. You can delay them, like let's say I want to delay backing vocals, I would delay them, and also from here they're deleted. Or I can add other instruments such as ARP, let's say, add to score. You will find it here and on the preview as well. Here's the time signature. You can select 4/4, 3/8, 6/8, 12/8, whatever. I will stick to 4/4 now. Or you can basically create your own time signature by going on other. Here's a pickup bar. Basically, it's a bar that is preceding is the bar before the actual score. And then is the tempo. Here are more classical, Italian classical terms like maestoso, moderato, prestissimo, etc. Metronome mark, if you want to add, for example, 120, and here you can select the value of the note compared to the metronome mark. Here's the key signature setup. So if you want no alterations, is no key signature, and then if you want to select a major tonality with sharps, or major tonality with flats, minor tonality with sharps, and minor tonality with flats. And here's all details, like for example, let's say introduction, the title of the actual song. So introduction to Sibelius 7, composer Alessandro Giovanetto, and you can write the lyricist as well. Or if you have details about the copyright, you can select them. So at this point, and here's the other information bit. At this point, you can either select back to go back to the models, all the models you've got, or going to create. So, okay, here's the main working sheet, as I said. And for now, I will leave all the small details for other videos. I'm gonna concentrate on this bit here, all these panels here. Basically, this section is called ribbon, and what is that? It's basically all the different sections that are containing elements of the actual score. So let's start from the first one, and I will go through everyone in a generic way, and then with other videos I will go into the depth and into details. On the files section, there are all those commands related to saving the project, open previous projects you've been working on, or printing or exporting in MIDI, PDF, really useful actually, and all these basic introduction commands you might use for your project. Then on the home section, you got all the basics command to add or remove bars, instruments, changing the transpositions elements, like if you have a transposing instrument, all those type of details. Or you can add filters as well on the score. In the note input, as the name, you can imagine that is more related, is concerning notes, how to change notes, how to transpose notes, how to arrange notes, the different inputs of the notes, different type of notes, etc., etc. I can keep going there all day. Anyway, on the notations bit, there are all the different commands that were on the previous introduction page. So you can change the clef, you can change the key signature, the time signature, you can add elements such as crescendo, techniques like, I don't know, for guitars, let it ring, or you can add other symbols, segno, coda, or vibrato. You can add all those type of elements, like especially if you want to notate like a specific type of percussion or element and stuff like that. You can even change the type of notes you're adding. For example, it can be like the notes can show up like X, like an X, for example, if there is a muted type of parts, like for example if you're writing for a guitar. And then following section is the text one, in which you can basically write on your score. You can write elements on your score. You can select the chords that are underneath the actual parts. You can put rehearsal marks. You can put lyrics on, and all those type of writings such as dal segno coda and all the type of things. Then the play is related to the playback, really. So here are all the commands about going fast, going slow, recordings, metronome, stopping, play, and you can change basically the feel of the song. For example, if you're writing a jazz feel, so you can make it play, make Sibelius play it back in a swing way, in a swing feel, or even a shuffle, country shuffle, blues shuffle, etc. Actually, if I have to be fair, the Sibelius sound that is coming out from the parts is not really, it's not great. I mean, you cannot really rely on how good it sounds from the Sibelius sounds. So yeah. And then on layout is basically all those commands related to how to make a part, a stave bigger, smaller, the space between different staves, the space between a stave or the edge of the paper, and yeah, all those type of basically information you can give to Sibelius. Or maybe, for example, if I want those 3 bars to stay on one line just by themselves without any other bar, you can do it in this section. The appearance is basically everything related to the visual aspect of Sibelius. So you can change the node spacings, the space between nodes. You can change the stems and all those type of things basically that are related to the visual aspect of it. And then there is the parts bit in which you can isolate one single track, one single instrument, and basically transposing it in a different project just by itself. So for example, at the end of the score, if I just want the guitar to just want the guitarist to have his own part without having the bass, for example, I can take this part and make it moving it to another section, another piece of paper, basically. Okay, then the review, you can do a couple of things. For example, you can compare the sheet you've been working on with the previous works you've done of the same project, or you can leave comments on bars, on notes, on different passages. You can highlight different passages for, I don't know, whatever reason. You can add plugins again, etc. The last bit is view. It is useful to check different settings of how to view the whole project. For example, you can select to view it like that, or in different ways, basically. And also all these elements here are used to show or hide different elements that are inside the work page. So for example, this is the keypad, really useful to insert nodes or elements such as rests and dots and stuff like that. You can actually hide this keypad, and if you want to add it again, you're going in this section view, and you can add it again. And this works with other elements such as the keypad. So that's it. I hope this video was useful for you to give a brief introduction on Sibelius and different sections. And in the following videos, I will stick to every section in detail, in depth. Yeah, I hope this video was useful again, and see you in the next video.